Hey, and welcome to the slightly angry edition of 7-Figure Business Secrets. Yeah, so slightly angry indeed today. So what's got me so angry? Well, first of all, I'm only slightly angry. I find it actually very, very difficult to be angry, which is a terrible flaw when you want to have a podcast that you can shout and scream about. But so what has me so slightly angry? Well, it was actually a podcast I was listening to there from no one else or no one other than Gary Vaynerchuk. If you don't know Gary Vaynerchuk, he's a great lad. He's done a whole pile of he's one of the trailblazers, I suppose, for YouTube and video marketing, and he's gone on to do great things socially, and he's one of those people held up as the entrepreneur's entrepreneur. But he's got me angry, slightly angry today, because he's gone on about his entrepreneurs and hustling and everything, and the more he went on about it today, I don't know why today of all days, but I suddenly twigged he actually doesn't get us. He doesn't get us at all. He doesn't get me and you at all. He's and today he was going on about hustling and how it's so important to hustle, and entrepreneurs have to hustle more, and it's all about the hustle and hustle. Yeah. And basically his whole thing was, if you're not an entrepreneur, you're not hustling, you're basically not going to do very well. It's terrible, and shame on you. And that was fine, except for he went overboard. And what he went on about, he said, the difference between entrepreneurs and people with jobs are that entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs know how to hustle, and people with jobs don't. And I just thought that is the biggest load of rubbish I've ever heard on two fronts. First of all, that you have to hustle to be successful, right? Which I'm going to tell you about in a second. You absolutely do not at all. And the second thing is that people who aren't entrepreneurs, people with jobs, don't know how to hustle. What a load of horse, So anyway, Gary, for listening, right? Pay attention. I'm going to explain to you why me and my listeners are completely different to you, and why your stuff just doesn't work for us at all. So very simply, Gary, you never had a corporate job, right? You started off, you actually never went through and learned all the stuff that we know. We know how to pull teams together. We know how to make big things happen in incredibly complex places. Gary, if you've ever worked in a corporate, if you haven't, I suggest you go and do. I know you haven't, but go and try and get something done in a corporate environment where you're trying to get lots of different departments working together, and then you realize how difficult it is to actually get things done. All you've got to do, Gary, is just phone up someone and come up with an idea and get a supplier, and you make all the decisions, and it just happens. Well, in the corporate world, it's way more complex than that. We've got to worry about having to get the right things, to get IT, to talk to marketing, to talk to sales, to get finance, give us the money, to convince the CEO that it's a great thing to do, and to try and not put too many noses at a joint, and still manage to get something done quickly and effectively. And most of the things that we do in our corporate world have got multiple zeros behind it, Gary. Yeah, we're not talking about little startup things and getting an extra 3,000 or 4,000 on YouTube or something like that. We're talking about serious businesses, mate. So Gary, pay attention again, because I suggest you actually go and get a corporate job, and then you might actually know what you're talking about. And the second thing is the idea that you've got to be able to hustle to do it. Well, that's just not true. Again, back to my corporate role, and all my friends who listen to this podcast who have corporate jobs or had corporate jobs and are now successful entrepreneurs. Well, most of us figured out that actually hustling isn't a very effective strategy. And if I go back to my own corporate days, that I learned the hard way, because yes, I did try and hustle, and I did try and play different games and everything, and I found that actually hustling is an incredibly inefficient strategy. Yes, you might get things done on the quick. Yeah, you might actually get that project in over the deadline. You might get in for quarter one rather than quarter two. But what happens is you piss a lot of people off, and you might win the battle, but you lose the war. And then I had a really cool project, actually. It was actually very successful eventually. but the reason you can see me frowning is that this is a really cool project. It is rolling out a computer system that actually automated all of our purchasing and saved a lot of money. But I made a classic mistake, and I went on the hustling mode, and I put lots of pressure. This is a really obviously good project. I put lots of pressure on loads of different people and hustled. Got the project half in, and by that stage everyone was so annoyed with me that I started losing some of the key stakeholders. They wouldn't go out of their way for me anymore, and get stuff done. So that was a very hard lesson, that I'd go and rebuild a lot of bridges that I should never have burnt in the first place in order to go and complete my project. And luckily enough, I learned that at quite a young age. But I of course, I don't learn all the time, so I repeated a few times, and I watched loads of my team members make the exact same mistake. And every single time, when you over hustle and stupidly hustle, rather than play the slightly longer game, but actually be deliberate in what you do, be strategic in what you do, be mindful of others, you get a much better result. So Gary, hustle is not what it's all about, right? And when you've got the skills and the experience of coming from corporate, me and my group, we have more tools than most of your non-ex-corporate people have. We know how to actually go and pull teams together. We know how to get things done. We know how to get big things done, and we do it very effectively. We do it amazingly effectively, and those skills, they're the skills that we use in our entrepreneurial lives, and we do that so much more effectively than hustling, right? You got it, Gary? I know that Gary will probably never ever see this or listen to it, but you know what? It gets a load off my mind. So if you are listening to some of Gary's stuff, and it's just fashionable at the moment for these entrepreneurs to go on about hustling, just don't get fooled by it. Don't get fooled by it at all. Your corporate skills, the skills that you learned, and the skills that did you well in your jobs and your careers, right? They are absolutely applicable to your entrepreneurial life. Just remember, you know how to build teams, you know how to get people working together, you know how to figure out what's the right strategy and what's the best tactic, you know how to evaluate things as you go wrong, you know how to course correct and do all of that type of good stuff. So don't doubt yourself just because someone like Gary Vaynerchuk is moaning on about how ex-corporate people or people with jobs or people that had jobs just don't get it, because you do, right? Don't listen to him. And any other expert who you hear saying that, don't listen to him. And if he says anything to you, tell him Keith said so, right? So okay, hope that helps, and I should talk to you shortly. Bye.